Yo, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to do a video on NNDM since obviously it's having a wonderful red day here. So if we take a look at the daily here, you can see, actually I had these RSI lines drawn in here, and on the daily we're getting close to a retest of this line here. And, I've had this drawn in here for quite some time, and I never really played any of this action. But I'm looking for this line to hold here. As you see in the past, we couldn't really hold it there, but when we broke it, we did have some insane price action here. And it's getting quite a big correction. So you can see we already had our MACD cross here. Negative. Let's look at the 4-hour here. So I don't know what this line was that I had in here, but it must have been a breakdown target of something, and I had a breakdown of 1390 based off of something that I wasn't sure. Oh, because I was viewing this as a head and shoulders pattern here. That's right, that was my breakdown, is 1390. And this is actually exactly what's going on here, is we're getting this left shoulder, this head, and this is the right shoulder. So I was looking for 1390, and I guess it could come as low as 1352 if it wants to retest this pattern. So this pattern here was like a, I don't know if you want to call it a bull flag or not, or a falling channel or something, but I was kind of viewing it as a bull flag. And if this was, I don't know what the flagpole measured move would be, but I have my, maybe I was just measuring this. Okay, I was just measuring this whole right here, this falling channel measured move here. If it would let me grab it, that would be great. Give me that thing. Thank you. And the measured move would have been and should have been at least to test this old high, which it kind of looked like it tried to. And I had a breakout target of 1938. But obviously we got rejected here. Brace action. We got rejected here. So this is going to be a pretty strong resistance box here. And then your strongest support would potentially be way down here. So, but as low as this box here, which is at 1417, which we kind of broke, but it looks like, as long as we don't get an hourly close below that, which I think we're going to come down further, so I'm going to leave this box where I am. The reason that I say that is because of this 20 EMA here crossing negative. This is just on the hourly, but obviously we're in a short-term downtrend, and that's pretty clear. It doesn't take a brain scientist to fucking figure that out, right? But, I'm going to say that this right here was probably a rising channel or rising wedge maybe. Let me just see if that makes any sense. Obviously, that was a head and shoulders breakdown too. But this was your rising channel here. So if we were to take a measured move of the breakdown of this rising channel, it's actually a pretty big breakdown here. So from there, it would actually almost bring us to the support line at 1318. But I am kind of expecting us to get a bounce somewhere on this 50 EMA on the 4-hourly. So 1360, something like that, wouldn't be too bad. We don't have any clear signs of a bounce on the 4-hour. We have supported this line here for quite some time on the 4-hour, and we did just break that. So we could be coming all the way down as low as any of this range here, or we could even come all the way down here before getting a nice big bounce back up into this, what looks like a rising channel on my RSI as well. So, I am bullish on this thing for sure long term. Now you can see, let me go to the weekly and show you how beautiful this thing is and why I am still bullish as fuck on it. Obviously I have this kind of like falling channel here. that it was in and chopping in here for a while. We broke support here, which caused a big crash. We got a massive, massive volume candle here from this 13. Actually, look at that. Wow, that's actually 1369. That's what our breakdown target was right there. So I actually want to keep that area in mind here and see if this means anything to us. Let's run this thing all the way across real quick. Is that still touching the wick? Not quite. I gotta come down a little lower on that, but sorry guys. Let me just get this here. There we go. Okay. So let's take a look here. I can actually probably delete this box that I just created. Where is it? Can I? No, that's not it. That's it. Delete that box. And I'm going to delete this bottom box as well. And I know I got all these funky lines in here. But you can see that I had a breakout here of this trading channel that we were in here. And, you know, the run-up broke this long-term resistance line that I have here that goes, you know, way back, way back. That's where I just ran it from a couple wicks way back in this range. See those wicks there? So that's showing that we did get a breakout there. And we have this beautiful, this is all on the daily right here. But you can see, obviously, that we had this beautiful rounding structure action. So, you know, we got into a nice, like, parabolic run here. And now we are just consolidating. You know, I don't think that this is anything to worry about. I think it's an excellent buying opportunity. And I really, really am liking this 1376, 1369 area based off of what we just went through. Now, if I hide some of these, you know, these lines here that I've had drawn in here, then we can actually find out if this is making another pattern, because obviously, you know, in stocks they make patterns within patterns. And I kind of want to go back to my green, because I like that green color. And, you know, if we go something like this, then you can see, based off of my trend line there and this trend line here, even though we've had some fake wicks, this is creating a bull flag here. So you're actually consolidating here to reset all the RSI. And, you know, I can expect that we will probably end up trending in here for a couple of weeks before our next big-ass move. So, you know, I don't know if I would call this. I think the safest option would probably be calling. Let's see if I can figure this out. Well, I would say that this whole thing is probably a pull right there. So your next big fucking move out of here, when it does decide to get out, would be all the way up here at $26. And, you know, if we wanted to do a secondary line, of course, we haven't found a bottom, so this is kind of useless right now. But once it does find a bottom, we can draw our line here, and then we can probably even, depending, it could be making some type of pennant here, a bull pennant as well. So with that being said, I mean, you can call this just the flagpole from here. If we don't want to exaggerate it too much, we could call this either here or here, maybe right here, your flagpole, and then look for a breakout somewhere up in, you know, March 3rd or so. And you'd have your breakout at least up to 24.47. I mean, it's pretty close to where we're looking at. So, I mean, I'm not expecting this to be the final bottom here. I still see some downside. But we'll see. 1369, I would expect it probably ends up being the pattern. So if that is the case, then this might end up looking something like that. But it's too soon to say. But I guess I'll just leave it in here just as my perspective right now that we're going to do something like this. But obviously, we could, if we don't hold this, we could come as low as 1229, and that is if in fact we can't hold this 1369 level, and it continues down on this RSI and breaks this line here, and we go a lot lower, then even going to as low as this trend line that I have here is the overall trend line of this whole structure where it's been following. It comes down, tests this line, comes down, tests this line, so on and so forth. And we continue to test this line the whole way. So, you have a couple different buying places. I would take a nibble here at this 1371, but if, in fact, it doesn't hold, so you could watch it and make sure it's going to hold and see what happens. If it goes sideways here for a while, then obviously it will eventually hit this line somewhere up in this area. And if it does break this and it comes down lower, then it might bounce off of this level in this 1230 range within a few days. So you definitely want to keep your eye on this thing, because even though it's having this big correction, I still feel that we have some bullish price action. And like, you can look at the hourly here, and we're almost in this oversold, or is it oversold or overbought? Oversold, I believe. Oversold area here. And, normally we bounce down in this range on the RSI. So, we could come down pretty low, but I don't think it's going to come as low as like some of these. So we are getting pretty close to that area of a bounce. So, we'll have to see how this works out, but I'm looking for that. Mainly, I'm looking for that 1370 area, potentially. Maybe in an hour or two, once this crosses, we'll have to see if it continues to push us down. But I do want to just keep this one on your radar, because, I think that it's a good buying opportunity over the next few days on this thing to start loading up a little bit, because it does have some good moves coming here for sure. So you can see on this weekly that even though we are getting this little bit of a red consolidation spinning top, I wouldn't doubt it if there was a red TD9 or something somewhere. It was back here that we never did anything of. We just continued to ignore it. So we were catching resistance here on this blue 100 EMA up here, which is right at our resistance of 1780. So, we still have this golden cross here that just came in last week, which looks like that helped us get a nice push up. And as we continue to roll up on these EMAs, eventually it's going to push us up above this area. If I pull this Ichimoku cloud out at all, you can see that this is something that we were talking about, this 1230 area. This white line is very significant when it comes to buying opportunities as well. So if it does decide to correct all the way to that 1230, that would be right in line with that support line here. That's a very good zone on this white line here on the Ichimoku support. And we're below it on the daily right now. And your purple, which I like to buy off these purples as well, is right around 1340. So that's if it decides to wick below, which you can see in the past when we did have these wicks past the support, we came down and almost touched this purple. So that opportunity would probably be around 1340, if that's going to be the lowest it goes. So I just want to throw this one out there, and that's my input on this right now. If we do get a bounce here somewhere pretty soon, because we're getting oversold a little bit there. If we get a bounce somewhere in this $14 range, we're going to look for resistance up here at this, $15 range maybe. And we'll have to see how this plays out. Do I have my TD9 here? I want to see if there's any TD9 flashes or anything calling for a short-term bounce. No, I don't see any. Well, I guess on the 30-minute, but that doesn't really mean too much. That's just going to bring us up maybe to 1489 or something. If that does, we'll probably get rejected there, come back down lower, so on and so forth. So, it's going to bounce around for a little while. You're getting a lot of selling in there in the shorter time frames. But anyway, guys, obviously we do have some push down to go. You can see this white line coming down. Once it crosses the purple, it's going to push us lower. Right now we are getting cloud support here, but then below it, like I said, we have support at 1370. We have our 50 EMA at 1361, and then we have our red resistance box again at that 1230, 1240 range. So that right there, between these two levels, are very key levels to me, is 1370 and, somewhere in here, depending on when we reach it, if we reach it, anywhere from 1285 to 1240. I like the 1240. That's another level that I'd be looking for if it doesn't hold this 1370. All right, guys, so that's about it for me. There's no signs of bounces yet, so it's kind of a sideline wait, or if you're loading up long term, buy some of these dips. Don't go too heavy, because you can probably get it a little bit cheaper. 1370, you could put a good chunk on it, and especially 1230-ish. If you get 1230-ish, that's a big buying opportunity, in my opinion. But this is kind of where I see us for now, is kind of chopping in here until we get this break. So keep it on your radar. All right, peace.